You are psychologically messed up now and you have trauma. Trauma that is never going to heal 100%. You're never going to go back to the person you were before you were destroyed psychologically by the psychopath narcissist. But if you do the work, you will be better, because life is about growing. I gotta tell you, one of the hardest things after getting out of a narcissistic relationship is when you're stuck wondering if the narcissist ever loved you. Has that ever happened to you guys? You're out of this abusive, manipulative, toxic entanglement, because that's what these things are. They're entanglements, narcissistic entanglements. You've been discarded, you've been ghosted, you've been blocked, you've been lied to, you've been cheated on, and you're left in the dark all alone, and you can't get this question out of your head. Did the narcissist even love me? Did she even care? Or he? Did he even care? What did the narcissist actually even think about our relationship? And you start dwelling on these questions that only bring you down and deeper into that cold abyss, all alone. Sometimes at 3 in the morning, these questions pop up and you can't sleep. And you start looking back at the relationship, at all the years you were together, and you realize, man, I don't think they even gave a fuck. Yeah. You can't dwell on those questions, because once you understand what a narcissist is, then you'll understand it's in their nature not to care. They're incapable, as far as I'm concerned. They're all like psychopaths. They don't have empathy and they really don't care. I wanted to read a comment that Victoria left yesterday that I think makes a lot of sense into this. She says, I seen the title of this video and it made me stop. If you want to confirm you're dealing with an unhealthy individual who does not care one whit about you, you will for sure after you leave them. The stuff, the things left behind, is one of the #1 ways to get back in, and how you can really clue into what you're dealing with. Everything is centered around objects, including you. You're the object to be played with, used sometimes, tossed aside sometimes, whenever they feel the whim. The stuff is you. Materialistic crap means nothing. You do. It's been years now, a lot of peeling back the illusion and some deep inner reflection. And I have to say, life is a whole lot better without all that stuff manipulating me around. Thanks for sending that in, Victoria. Thank you. I hope you guys realize what she's trying to say. Once you're out of a narcissistic relationship, once you've had time, once you've had the space, okay, once you've given your brain time apart from the toxic, okay, once the poison is no longer being injected into your veins on a daily, once you start doing the work to recover, once you start doing the work to recover and heal from narcissistic abuse, then a lot of these questions start to get answered automatically. Then you start to realize exactly who or what you were dealing with. That's right. For some of you, you were dealing with a psychopath, not just a narcissist. You were dealing with a psychopath or a sociopath. And it's like, whoa, they were just using me. They were just using me for money, for a place to stay, for connections, for helping them get to where they needed to go. They were just using me to help get them out of their country, to help get them a visa or a green card. They just didn't want to be alone. They were taking advantage of my resources. Sometimes you were just being used for sex. Sometimes you were just being used for status, as a trophy, just to have you as a trophy, to show the world that they have someone. And you realize they never gave a damn. You realize they were terrible wives, terrible husbands, terrible fathers, terrible mothers. Only when you have the space can you truly come to that conclusion. I was blessed that once I got out, I didn't go back. Took a while to get out. But I never went back. And a lot of you don't go back. And sure, it's not easy when you're out because all these questions plague you. You have trauma. You stumble upon videos like these and you're like, whoa, that's my story. That's exactly what I'm going through. How do you know that? Do you know my ex? Do you know the psychopath in my life? No, I don't know them, but believe me, we have met. Only the names and faces were changed because they're all the same. And sometimes, at least in my case, when I was out and I started really understanding what I was dealing with, the trauma got really bad. That's when the panic attacks truly kicked in. When I realized, whoa, that was a full-blown psychopath I was sleeping next to and sleeping with. Oh no, and your brain kind of explodes. So when I say that all these answers start to come to you, sure, they come to you, but it also comes with a side of more trauma. Because the answer that you were looking for is by far worse than what you expected. You were expecting something to make complete sense. And sure, when you understand narcissistic personality disorder, when you start understanding the levels of psychopathy, it also makes sense. But it's a hard pill to swallow. That's the thing. It's a hard pill to swallow because we're talking about human beings. And for the most part, no matter how much of an asshole you can be, there's just a level of understanding between human beings. But when you're dealing with a psychopath, with a sociopath, some things are just completely uncanny. The things they do to you, the damage they do to you, with no remorse. The thing is, there's no remorse behind it. They don't feel sorry. They don't feel bad. They're not trying to make amends. They really don't give a fuck. And when that's the mother of your children or the father of your children, that hurts. But I'm here to tell you, what are you going to do with that pain? Because the time is going to pass by anyway. I say this in almost all my videos. The time is going to pass by anyway. You still have a life to live. Sure, you were scammed. Sure, you were betrayed. Sure, you were abandoned, abused. Sure, you are psychologically messed up now and you have trauma. Trauma that is never going to heal 100%. You're never going to go back to the person you were before you were destroyed psychologically by the psychopath narcissist. But if you do the work, you will be better because life is about growing. This atrocity still has a silver lining. This nightmare still has a lesson to be learned. And if you went through all this emotional turmoil and you didn't learn anything from it, then what a waste. What a waste. So make sure that no matter how bad you feel, no matter how lonely you feel, no matter how betrayed you feel, when you replay the tape, and I urge you to catch yourself from replaying that tape all the time. You got to stop that rumination. But when you do play that tape, just at least have the awareness to say, hey, okay, what was the lesson here? Where did I go wrong? Where did my boundaries fail me? Where did I give this person unlimited chances? When did I stop listening to my gut? When this psychopath was lying through their teeth and my gut was screaming at me that they were lying. They were gaslighting me even when I didn't know what the word gaslight meant because it wasn't popular like it is now. I knew that they were trying to distort my reality because I knew what had happened. I knew what I had said. I know for a fact what they had said, and I had it in email and I had it in text, and they still denied it. At what point did I choose to believe the psychopath narcissist instead of the truth? Because facts don't lie. Psychopaths lie. Narcissists lie. And I'm not talking about a white lie. I'm talking about a malicious, malignant, predetermined, okay, calculated lie to live a double life, to do what the fuck they want with no remorse of who they hurt and who they scar. At what point did I choose to believe them instead of what I knew to be true? And that's how you start to uncover the lessons. That's when you start to uncover, hey, my boundaries are not strong at all. Hell, I don't even have boundaries. Because having boundaries is not telling the person, hey, I have boundaries, I'm setting a boundary. You sound like a dumbass. That's not how boundaries work. They're unspoken. They're unspoken. You don't go announcing, these are my boundaries and you're crossing it. Sound like a dumbass. The narcissist is laughing at you and they will walk over your boundaries. You just got to say what you need to say. You don't have to say it mean, but you have to mean it. And if they overstep those boundaries, then you got to go. You can't put up with it. There are no second chances. You may give the benefit of the doubt based on the severity of the boundary overstepping, but there are some things that there's some boundaries that are just unspoken. You just don't hit your romantic, trustworthy partner. You don't hit your spouse. You don't punch them in the mouth. You don't steal from them. You don't cheat on them. Now I know especially in today's modern society, there's so much trauma in the air we see. There's so much trauma and so many broken relationships, and you know, women are getting into abusive relationships with toxic, psychopathic men that did the same thing that their toxic, abusive, unavailable fathers did to them when they were kids. And lots of men getting into narcissistic, abusive relationships with women that reminded them of their abusive mothers when they were kids. And a lot of times abuse is considered normal. It's considered home. Oh, this feels like home. This was the love mommy and daddy showed me, because mommy and daddy weren't available. And dad was an alcoholic and he used to beat on my mom. Or my mom was a whore. Yes, whore, don't get offended. She was never available and she was out trying to sleep with and party with as many men as possible. And I was raised by grandma. But what I wanted was my mom to come home. I wanted my mom to tuck me in bed. Thank God my grandma did her best to raise me. But you're still traumatized because your mom wasn't there. And then you get into a relationship with a narcissistic woman that treats you like shit, that cheats on you, that's out whoring herself out there. And if somehow it feels like home, and somehow it feels like home. This is the hard truth. I know some of you get offended with some of the shit I say. Well, that's a you problem. If you can't handle the truth, then by all means continue. Continue to let these abusive, toxic, narcissistic people run a train on you. I'll happily refund you your misery. This is reality, folks. This is reality. The veil has been lifted. Now you have information. Now you have answers for things, for questions that had been plaguing you for years. Now there's a name for what you've been dealing with. There's a name for what you've been dealing with. There are tons and tons of scientific, psychological research available. You don't have to believe everything that they say. You don't have to believe everything I say. But take a look at it. Take a look at it and do your own research. Think for yourself, unlike 90% of the sheep in today's society. Think for yourself, hey, this may sound harsh, but this sounds like my relationship. In fact, this sounds exactly like my relationship. Maybe this crazy kid is onto something. Who knows? But take a look at it and ask yourself, man, I've been doing the same thing for years, expecting a different result. And my husband still doesn't change. He's still the same abusive, narcissistic, alcoholic, womanizer. Like, at what point are you going to wake up and realize, hey, this ship has sunk. And if I don't get out now, I will have completely wasted my life. I would love to help you guys if you're serious about getting off that ship. I would love to help you because I couldn't do it alone. I had to work with a mentor, and I would call, man, I would text him and call him every day, repeating the same story over and over again. And then she did this, and then she did that. Can you believe that? And I knew she was cheating on me, and I still put up with it, and blah, 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 just going on and going on and going on. But he was the only one that understood. He was the only one that understood. I knew I wasn't talking to a wall. I knew I wasn't talking to my friends that didn't have a clue what I was talking about. I was talking to someone that understood. And because of the work I did with him, I was able to get out of this nightmare a lot faster than had I tried to figure this shit out on my own. Because believe me, I was not able to figure this shit out on my own. I found some leads. It's the work I did, the research, the detective work I did that led me to find my mentor. But man, like that could have been a lifelong journey of trying to figure out what went wrong with that relationship. I work with a lot of survivors. I have a coaching program that I've been running for, basically for people that are serious. You know, people like me that they knew no matter what their friends would tell them, they knew this is not a broken heart. I'm not dealing with a broken heart. Okay? This is psychological. There's something evil. There's an evil entity. That woman was possessed by Satan. There was some darkness in the house. Everything she touched turned to shit. There was something more, man. There was something more. And when I got those answers, when I learned that it was narcissism and psychopathy, and I did the research on it, and I was like, oh my gosh, she checks off all the boxes. Yes, that's her. And I would read the books, and I would be shaking. I was like, holy shit, was this book written about her? What about all my other ex-girlfriends? How come none of them check off any of those boxes? Because, you know, we all have an ex that shit didn't end it really good, or a relationship that sucks that it came to an end, but you never had this thing plaguing you, distorting your thinking. You never had this brain fog. You never lost the will to live. You were brokenhearted. Sure, you might have lost your appetite for a couple of days. You were crying and sobbing, and you miss your girlfriend, your boyfriend, but you know, a few days you guys would talk, and you would both cry, and you would come to the same conclusion and realize, shit, there's no way to fix this. You would go to therapy, and the therapist would tell you, hey, you know what, you guys are not, it's just not working. There's nothing wrong with you guys, but you want different things or whatever, and you're in love, but sometimes love is not enough, right? But with the psychopath, with a narcissist, you're not going to even get that phone call. You're not going to get that closure. You're going to be left in limbo. And limbo is cold. It's cold, man, let me tell you. It's cold, and you don't know what's going to happen, and you're just wasting your life waiting and hoping, hey, maybe today will be the day that she comes back and she's a totally new person and we're gonna make this work. I can tell you, man, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. So feel free to reach out to me if you'd like to work directly with me. I have a coaching program that I conduct over Zoom, so we will be on video privately, one-on-one. Click the link below in the description for more information on that. And if this is your first time in the channel, this is the first time that you're watching this and this is resonating with you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you can get notified every time I post a video. Because there's a lot of content creators now, and some of the information that needs to get to you is just not getting to you. And then you forget. And you take back the narcissist. And it's like, why did I take them back? I should have kept watching the videos. So go ahead and do that. If you have any questions that you would like me to cover, a topic you would like me to cover on a video relating to narcissism, psychopathy, even true crime, shit like that, something in the media that's really, really irking you. You can see the gaslighting, you can see the manipulation. They're probably psychopaths, narcissists, elitists. Drop those questions below in the comments so I can make some videos in the future for you. In the meantime, guys, if you need to rewatch this video for it to sink in, you can go ahead and do that. Share the video with someone that you feel is going to help. This information needs to get out there. It's not the most digestible information because the truth hurts, but you're watching this video for a reason. You're either in a toxic relationship with a psychopath narcissist right now and don't know how to get out, or you were discarded by a psychopath narcissist and you can't get over it. Either way, the only way out is through. You gotta go through hell. You can't stand, you can't stay there. There's a saying I used to say, sink or swim. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. But if you just stand there and do nothing, you're gonna drown, boy. You're gonna drown. And that's not an option. That's not an option. All right? So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, smash that like button. My name is Kira. This is Psychopath Exposure. Hope you're having an amazing day, and I will talk to you guys later.